10:04.
All right, past time. Okay, okay. Knock, knock, knock. I'd like to call the meeting of the Wayne County Commission to order. Madam Clerk, if you could please do the roll call.
Yes, please record, Francesca. Don't
It
forget.
is recording.
Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
Commissioner Basham,
Here.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Here.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Dobb,
Here.
Commissioner Hattis,
Present.
Commissioner Clean has requested an excuse. Commissioner Knizik,
Here.
Commissioner Marecki,
Here.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Scott,
Present.
Commissioner Varga,
Here.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Present.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Here.
Chair Bell.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Okay. Thank you. Next item, invocation by Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for waking us up this morning and starting us on our way, giving us our health and our strength. Lord Almighty God, we thank you for being a healer and a comforter, and that down through the years, you have protected us, you fed us, you clothed us, and you've been a bridge over troubled waters. You have been so good to us. And now we come to you asking you for your mercy and protection against this coronavirus. Lord, touch us, protect our families, our friends, and those that hear the sound of my voice. And watch over medical professionals that risk their lives to heal those who are sick. And we pray right now for your guidance as we deal with these difficult times. Oh Lord, watch over these United States and countries abroad as we work together to fight this pandemic, and that in your name, it will not win, and this too shall pass. Lord, I ask for a special prayer that you lift up each and every member of the Wayne County Commission and each staff member. We ask that you give us direction and that we make decisions that are best for our communities. We ask that you guide us and deliver us and direct us, counsel us and comfort us and bless us. Oh Lord, we pray that you continue to shine your light down on us and that you will do these things, that we will do those things that are pleasing in thy sight. Oh Lord, help us at all times to be kind to one another and to be an example for others to follow. In all these things, I pray in your name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that impactful prayer, Commissioner Baker. Very appropriate at this time that we're facing in these challenging times. Francesca, please put everyone on mute, please.
All have been muted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again for that prayer. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we go on with the agenda. First, as you know, we are all living through challenging times right now, and we at Wayne County are doing the very best to keep our residents and our employees safe. And because of that, we are meeting virtually through Zoom and through phone numbers where people can dial in to make sure that we are staying home and staying safe as the governor ordered. We are adhering to that by this new way of communicating, which was approved by the governor, and it does make sure that we are in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. So that's why we are doing our Zoom meeting today, which is open to the public, and it will be available online after the meeting. For a few housekeeping rules, there's a lot of noise because there are several people on the line. So I'm going to ask right now, everyone is on mute. So if you need to speak a couple of things, if you have the Zoom video recording, there's a mechanism where you can raise your hand and we'll call on you to speak. When we get to the reports, we'll unmute because there are department representatives that need to speak on questions that are asked. But if you could mute yourselves, that would be very helpful so that everyone can hear the meeting as we go along. So right now, everyone is on mute. I'm going to ask commissioners to manually unmute yourself if you can. If not, Francesca will unmute you. Please make sure that you are in an area that is quiet so that we can hear all of the information that we need to hear. And with that being said, I am going to go to the next item of business, which is well, Madam Clerk, I'll let you do that.
So I believe we are moving to the addenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Take item number 3 under new business that's listed on the addenda. It is a resolution by Commissioner Bell approving an amendment to Rule 3 of the Wayne County Commission 2019-2020 Rules of Procedure, Open Meetings of the Wayne County Commission to provide guidelines for electronic and telephonic meetings.
To ensure that we are doing everything correct and in order, this was suggestion is to put in our rules for us to vote on, which just make sure that we are complying to the Opens Meeting Act, and we'll put this in our rules. Obviously, prior to this pandemic, there was no need to have this provision, but in light of where we are today, this is a resolution that I'd like for us to put forward so that we can have our meeting continually with the electronic purposes. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Was that?
Okay, did you, who, I heard Commissioner Ware support. Who moved?
Just in Rule 50.
Who moved?
Basham.
Moved by Basham, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Chair, I think the Rule 50 needs to be suspended. Is that what you just said, Felicia?
Yes.
Suspend Rule 50.
Before we vote on this item. Is that correct, Felicia?
Okay.
Correct.
We need a motion to suspend Rule 50.
Is there a
So
motion to
moved.
Support.
moved by Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware, supported by
Palomera.
Vice Chair Palomero to suspend Rule 50. We're going to do a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, we've just voted to suspend Rule 50. Now the motion is to accept this resolution. It was moved by Commissioner Basham, supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
We will return to the agenda. Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Move approval.
Support. Palomera.
It's been moved and supported. The reading and correction of the journal. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Is that a nay? Okay, 0 nays. Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item is report from the chair.
Thank you. And everyone, please, at this time, commissioners, if commissioners could please put their phones on mute. If everyone could please put their phone on mute. Report from the chair at this time. I'd like to call upon Mr. Khalil Rahul. As you know, yesterday, the county announced a program to help our small businesses that are in very much need of support during this time. And I'd like for Khalil to speak to this measure at this time. Khalil, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the rest of the board for taking the time to talk about this, what we think is a very, very vital and important program, during this crisis. As you all know, COVID-19 has had many, many ripple effects for our county, for our state, for our country, and for Wayne County, it's had a very, very important impact on our economy, and it has impacted small business in a grave manner. Small businesses are the backbone of our local economies here, and they are desperate for help right now. Obviously, the virus has caused executive orders, which either result in an establishment shutting down or, a stay-at-home, stay-safe order, which doesn't necessarily promote people, getting out and spending for small businesses. And so right now, if you are a small business, your expenses are the same. You still have either a mortgage or a rent. You still have, payroll. You usually still have inventory, and things are very, very difficult because revenues are down for your business dramatically. And so businesses are taking on a lot of pressure. And so we want to do what we can to help relieve whatever pressure we can provide. And so, there's a lot going on in the ecosystem right now, people trying to help. Maybe some of you have heard last night that the federal government, Congress, and the Senate were very, very close on a deal for another stimulus package. Don't have all the details on that, but it would be, the third time here in about 2 weeks that Congress has tried to act, towards some sort of stimulus for our country. And in that stimulus package, there usually, funds for small business. And in the very first act, there was money sent to local SBA offices. And we have 2 in Michigan, 1 in Detroit, 1 in Grand Rapids, for small business loans and nonprofit loans. And those loans that are about, for small businesses, 3.75%, which is not a great interest rate right now, to be honest with you. There are good interest rates right now. And so that's more debt for a business to take on. The state is also trying to act. The state, through its MEDC, is spending about $20 million statewide to help address this problem. $10 million of that is coming in the form of grants, and $10 million of it is coming in the form of loans. They haven't allocated out the funds yet. They're going to do that through local offices, and you should know, my department is applying and fighting very, very hard to get as much money from the MEDC that we can. With the grants, they're capped at about $10,000, and grants are difficult sometimes for small businesses because they turn into taxable income. The loan parameters that the MEDC is offering are loans between $50,000 and $200,000 for businesses impacted by the executive orders. They come with favorable terms, but the problem with both what the feds are doing and what the state is doing is businesses need money right now. By the time government organizations are able to issue checks to get into people's hands to help relieve that pressure, we may be 45 days, we may be 60 days into this thing. And for some small businesses, it will be too late. Last week, my department issued a survey, and we tried to get as much responses as we could. And in that survey, we tried to ask, small businesses what their greatest need was.
Hey, Brian.
Well, within 24 hours,
Air control.
we got about 250 responses.
iPad,
and
what it's trying to do, I'll take a picture.
I'm sorry, someone asking the question.
I'm sorry, could everyone please mute their phones? Everyone please mute their phones. Thank you.
So in about 24-hour timeline, we got a little bit over 250 responses. I think in the next 3 or 4 days, we got a total of 450 responses. And what we found is an average small business, 5-8 employees, they need about $26,000 to get them through in the next month or two. And so we see a huge hole. You've got SBA loans, at an interest rate people don't want to take on. We've got $10,000 grants or $50,000 loans. But what we're seeing, is folks that are in the middle of all that, and somewhere in between the the $10,000 and $50,000 range that don't want to necessarily get taxed. And so the county executive asked us to try to find a way to respond, to fill this gap, and to try to respond and provide folks with relief immediately, because the immediate part of this is what's very, very important. In our community development entity, it is a private nonprofit, what we call one of the kind of component units of the county. We have about $3 million. This is an entity that was set up by the previous administration that applied for new market tax credits with the federal government. It established a board. It was allocated 2 allocations many, many years ago, and it distributed those new market tax credits all throughout Wayne County. New market tax credits are federal tax credits spent in low-income areas intended to encourage development in those areas. So, businesses in low-income areas have a hard time getting financing. And these tax credits were going to be a way to lure lenders to help start lending in low-income areas. Over the years, the CDE has had to, manage the new market tax credits. It's had to report. It's had to make sure that those developments were meeting the reporting requirements, maintaining a certain amount of jobs, those kinds of things. And in doing that, it collects management fees. And over the years, it's collected over $3 million in management fees. That money has to be spent in low-income areas and low-income census tracts. And I can't think of a better time than putting that money to use than right now. In designing a program of how we put that money to use, we've been discussing a lot with our board members, with our staff, and the one thing we want to do is avoid the things that other governments are doing that is taking so long to get checks into people's hands. And so the one thing that became very, very clear, our offices don't necessarily have the back office infrastructure to administer loans and things like that for small businesses. And so we needed to find a partner. And that was very, very important. And discussing it with staff and our board members of the CDE, there was a lot of criteria that folks wanted to see in a partner. They wanted to see someone local that's got community ties, that was going to be open to favorable terms for small businesses. We wanted a bank who has got the wherewithal, who was possibly going to match our funds and administer a program, at their expense. And we wanted somebody who already had the necessary infrastructure in place because, again, we wanted to move very, very quickly. Businesses are hurting right now. And so TCF Bank meets all those criteria. It is a local bank, largest Michigan bank, headquartered here in Wayne County, and maybe most importantly, they are in the top 1% of banks nationwide that administer SBA loans. And so, that is a very, very important component to this piece. We are not going to be able to administer a program as quickly and as efficiently and effectively unless someone's got that type of a program already in their wheelhouse. And so when we approached TCF Bank, we asked for a partnership, and we got one. And I think we're very, very happy with the circumstances. We designed the program that was going to put up the $3 million of the CDE, and TCF Bank agreed to put up their own $3 million and to have a loan fund for small businesses that could possibly reach up to as high as $10 million, depending on how it performs. And so I think that's a very, very, generous and good thing. TCF Bank will handle all the administration of the program. They will accept loan applications. They will process the loans. They will issue the checks. And I think that's a very, very important thing. To give you some elements of the criteria around the program, these are microloans. These are loans between $5,000 and $50,000 for a Wayne County business in a low-income area. You've got to be under 100 employees. You got to be less than $1 million in revenue. You got to be experiencing revenue loss in the about 25% or more. These are low interest loans between 0 and 2% interest only for the first 6 months. I think that's very, very important because that's very, very favorable terms with a year to pay off the loan. business has got to be in good standing. It's got to be, in existence for at least a year in Wayne County. And there are several different ways to apply. You can apply online, you can apply over the phone, or there are 13 branches in Wayne County that you can go visit and speak to somebody. Banks are not one of the institutions I believe the governor closed down under her executive order. And so, we think this is a wonderful program, a very, very desperate and necessary need right now. One thing I will say is, we are dedicating our staff to help get the word out on this, and through different areas of the county. We've got different one-pagers that go around to drive people to the website of where they can get it. And the other thing I'll say is it's a one-page application that the turnaround time is very, very quick. And depending on the loan and the circumstances of the individual applying, we may be able to get checks in people's hands within 1 week. And I think that is, a huge sign of relief for many, many small businesses. So that's an overview of the program, Madam Chair. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank
Good
you. I had to
morning.
unmute myself. Thank you so much. Great information. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not county general fund dollars, correct?
That's correct.
And this is for low income tract areas. So in your estimation in Wayne County, would that be half the county, a third of the county, 2/3 of the county?
It's approximately 64%, which is almost 2/3 of the county. We have a map on our website that displays where the low-income census tracts are, and I'm happy to provide that to the commissioners.
Okay, and then a couple more questions. As far as nonprofits are concerned, can they take advantage of this?
Nonprofits, religious institutions can take advantage of it so long as they meet the criteria.
Okay. I have commissioners with some hands up. First hand was Commissioner Marecki, then Daub, then Hayes. Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Khalil, congratulations to you. And I believe TCF is also in this Zoom meeting. So thank you and congratulations to you as well. I have a couple questions. I realize, like legally, with the federal guidelines, these monies have to be used in low and moderate income areas, which is great. I mean, no problem with that. I'm wondering two things. Do you know if the state and the federal monies that are coming down for small businesses, if there's any requirement about that type of deal? I mean, will the monies from the feds and the state be open to all small businesses? Do you know yet? Or are there going to be limitations to different income levels?
Excellent question. So, with the caveat that I think the third stimulus package from the feds is going through the process like as we speak, and not knowing, how that sauce is being made and not knowing what the exact outcome is. The previous versions that I have seen have limitations, but they are not geographical. And so, if that answers your question, from the SBA loans. The same thing with the state, they have limitations, but again, not geographical. And so, our shop is doing everything that we can to try to provide a universal approach for all small businesses. So, we've got about 5, 6, business development managers. Everybody's priorities are being, diverted towards, trying to help existing Wayne County businesses right now. And to the extent we walk somebody through a process through this program and they don't meet the census tract guideline, we certainly turn them, over, in the hopes of connecting them with the SBA. And for whatever it's worth, the state funds, they're supposed to be sent down to our offices. And so we'll be able to have a grasp of helping a small business get to those funds as well directly. Now, we don't know how much, in total we're getting from the state yet. We have applied for the grants. We think we have a good idea of what that's going to look like. The loan program from the state, the application has not been out yet. And I think we're going to be submitting an application. It'll be due early next week. And I think the turnaround time on that will be quick from the state. They'll tell us by the end of the week or the following week how much we'll get. And so we've got some resources in our arsenal. And so we're going to be trying to bring that universal approach.
Okay, I really appreciate that. And I know your group is in contact with all the businesses that would like to be in contact with you. You've really been aggressive with all this. This is just one commissioner speaking. I'm wondering if there'd be any thought to, this is a question along with TCF. This doesn't have to be answered right now, just some things to think about. If there'd be any way that we could help some other businesses that don't meet these specific geographical requirements, but that are in deep trouble as well. I don't know if the executive would be open to spending a chunk of change from wherever, general fund, wherever we could find it, to help some other businesses in the 40% of the county that's not covered by this. Just something to think about. Again, I'm the only, I'm speaking for myself. We have a board of 15, but like you said, these checks are going to come at a later date for a lot of these businesses. If the state turns around quickly, if the state sends the checks and they turn around quickly, that's great. But as we know more information, I'm hoping that maybe as a county, we can look into some other funds to help some of the businesses that aren't covered by this particular program. And thank you again for doing this. A lot of work, I'm sure, but thanks to you and to TCF.
Right, this is a Tom Schaefer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next on the list, Commissioner Haydos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we know we in a difficult situation where we're trying to help our people and the businesses in the same time, and to have one program that specify one area and leave some other area without the help, I don't think that it's the right thing to do. I really think strongly is the county should use a few dollars from the general fund with no restriction on it to help the small businesses in Wayne County. It's fine, we have some for the low income area, it's great, but sometimes it's not gonna be enough for the low income area. So if we agree and dedicate another $3 to $4 million from the general fund to assist all the businesses in Wayne County, doesn't matter what the economic condition of the area, because there's so many small businesses, it's not in the low income area. And there's some more businesses in the low income area, the fund doesn't have enough to cover them all. So by putting some more money, I think that would be fair to everybody. That would show we trying to target all the small businesses in Wayne County. So I'm really don't know how much time we have to study this issue and work on this issue. I strongly believe in what I'm saying, and I'm one of the 15 commissioners. I'm willing today to make a motion to dedicate another $3 million from the general fund with no restriction to the small business in Wayne County.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before you make that motion, if you don't mind, do you mind if we do put together a small work group with yourself as the Economic Development Chair, heading that up to just go over what it looks like, what makes sense? But I agree with you totally that the 1/3 of the county that is not affected by this pot of money, we should anticipate or look forward to trying to find another avenue for those businesses to get funds. But I don't want to have that motion today, but let's take a day or two to see what that looks like, consult with Mark Abel and how we can do that. But I think that's absolutely something that we should look at, because not all of the businesses fall into this pot of money.
I agree with you, and long as we have this issue ready by the next meeting, because as you know, the clock ticking and the more people getting hurt and running out of business. So I don't mind to work with you, Madam the Chair, and try to get it ready for next meeting.
Thank you.
Madam
That
Chair.
meeting is next Thursday, so that's a good time frame. We were working within a week, so we can get that ironed out, then we can act on it next week. Cleo?
Madam Chair, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. All right, so this is good, and I first let me say I can't remember the last time I came to a commission hearing and commissioners wanted to see more of one of my programs. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. That is a special feeling for sure, and I appreciate it. I just want to say, obviously, you know, we cannot do this ourselves. We have a partnership with TCF Bank, and to administer a program as fast and as quick to try to address Commissioner Jesus and what Commissioner Marecki said, because they, you know, they're both raising important issues, and we think that they're important. But I do want everybody to understand that there's also a partner here that we desperately need to help administer the funds. We do have somebody from TCF on the call. Tom, are you there?
Yes, I am. Tom Schaefer. Can you hear me?
Tom, you know, yeah, there you are. Beautiful. If you can, you know, try to help me out here.
Sure. So first of all, I think that the issue of immediate response for this crisis is critical. There are some really good programs. The federal government is moving as fast as I've ever seen them. And I can, you know, go back to the last 4 recessions, but this crisis is different because it's created a cash flow gap for very viable businesses. And the program that CDE and the county has come out with is one intended to bridge that gap with some immediacy. And so I think this started last Thursday. Yesterday, we had 73 inquiries. We've got a number of applications. I expect to be funding our business banking team to be funding transactions by Monday. To the point that, so this program is limited because of the legal requirements of the geography associated with the CDE dollars. So I mean, for this program, I think the legal requirements have created some of the direction, but we're getting applications well beyond the census tracts that are required for the program. 35% of the applications or inquiries were specifically for the targeted area. We've got a number of applications for businesses that are not in the area. So we've got, you know, we are invested all across Wayne County. And in those instances where we can help, we're also tracking them because the SBA, we're a preferred SBA lender, and the ability for us to support other programs, especially with the new federal programs, I think is going to be dramatic. But, you know, we're interested in serving the entire county, and we're trying to respond to those that can be helped today. But this is not a universal solution, but it's a really good move with the resources that the county has. And so I applaud that, and we're delighted to be a partner to get this money on the street ASAP, because this is for those businesses that have 1 to 100 employees, payrolls and rent and all the other obligations that they have, so that they're viable on the other side of this. And we're going to get to the other side of this. I can't tell you if it's 60 or 90 days, but we're going to come out of this. And when we do, those people that are employing our citizens are critical. And this gives us a really nice first step.
Thank you so much for your willingness to partner with us for this, because it's so very important. Again, we know the federal government is working as fast as they can, but we have programs like this locally, I think it'll hit those in need much faster. So we thank you for your partnership. And as we develop what we can possibly do for those other persons that are not in the zone, well, hopefully we'll have your partnership with that as well, Tom. So thank you for joining our call today. I have a couple of more commissioners that need to speak. Commissioner Dobb?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure that we all get a list of the zip codes and the map that show the areas that are eligible for this program. And then I had a question for businesses that don't qualify for this program. Should we still have them reach out to your department, Khalil, for other resources?
Absolutely. There's a couple of the things, a couple other resources that we're discussing internally. Obviously, we have, the SBDC office right on our floor. And so we have other, resources for small businesses that we can talk about right now. Obviously, we'll refer them to the SBA stuff. And the moment we get our hands on the state stuff, we'll get them on that. But there are programs that I don't think people know about that can help your small business. I'll give you one example. Health Choice is one of the best kept secrets in our county. Businesses need insurance, and we have the cheapest premiums of anybody in Wayne County. And we're already talking to the Health Choice Director and the Health Choice Board. We're talking about even lowering those premiums for businesses affected by this epidemic. That's just one example. So please, anybody that's facing any issue, whether they're in these census tracts or not, send them to us.
Is there a good phone number that you have that you can put out right now for just the public that can call?
Yeah, and I off the top of my head, I don't have the number or the website, but we have a call number funneling all of the calls to this one place to discuss, these issues. And I'll make sure to get that to, all the commissioners and your communications team so that you can put it in your letters, and we'll continue to publicize it.
Okay, thank you. And then I just have one final question. So I understand this program has $10 million to give out to small businesses. And you said that $3 million was coming from the county and $3 million is coming from TCF. Where's the other $4 million coming from?
So we're putting in $3 million. The TCF is putting in $3 million, and hopefully we will see how the program evolves and performs. And if it performs well, the money will be revolving in, right? And so we will just, TCF has agreed that if it performs well, the money will just keep that same money that comes in, right? Because you have a year to pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
The loans that are being paid out start to get paid back within 6 months. And that money revolves, and they have agreed to administer the program up to $10 million.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I'm hoping that some of the federal programs can replace this, and we can put the money back to use quicker than a year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you.
All right, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
Over to the other side.
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to share with everyone that I spoke to David Schreiber yesterday after I inquired also about the other communities that may not qualify for this, and he indicated there's and Khalil, I think you sort of touched on it about there's additional dollars that are coming along, and there's some others that are already there that they can tap into. I understand this is a requirement. Low to moderate income areas, targeted areas for this money, I believe it was the CTE money, but there will be additional allocations, grants, as well as loan programs that'll be coming along that others will qualify for. So as they come along, I'd appreciate anything you can do to keep us apprised.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baidoon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Now we can't.
Okay. First, I would like to applaud the Evans administration Thank you, Khalil, and all of your staff in your department for working on this desperately needed assistance to the business owners. Due to the nature of my business, I have been receiving many calls from business owners who are struggling and getting ready to shut down in some cases. I do believe this is going to help, and having additional funds from the county will also help other businesses outside the area that was designated, Khalil. And I'm assuming, Khalil, and jump in if you can, I'm assuming that the county or the county will be protected by placing liens or collaterals on these businesses or the properties, correct?
You know, the loan application is a very, typical thing that TCF does, which is, accept collateral. Now, the way that the money is structured is our $3 million and TCF's $3 million. If there are defaults, our $3 million are at risk. But to your point, when somebody fills out any loan application, there is some level of collateral. But in working with TCF, they see, and they have been just amazing partners at this. They're putting together a loan application that is just one page. And so they know that the job here is to get as much money out the door as possible. And so, there's a lot of questions of collateral. Where are you in line? Maybe there's other debt. There's all these other things. And I'm happy to have a more in-depth discussion on that if necessary. But I think the overall view here is these are, this is a crisis going on. These are very, very unusual circumstances. And we think we have found a partner that's got their heart in the right place for how to administer these programs.
Khalil, let me ask you this other question. In terms of who's first in line as far as position as a lien holder, can we co-equally be on title of these properties with TCF Bank? So if there's a potential loss where the bank and the county share it equally?
No, the agreement that we have with TCF is that if there are defaults, the county's money is up first. As far as liens go, I can turn it over to Tom or maybe Joe Kopex, I think, who is our CDE attorney, who is also on here. Joe, are you on here? Maybe Joe didn't make the call.
So Khalil, in case there's a default, in case there's a default, TCF Bank is first. But do we have any legal recourse for the county to recover some of our money?
So, Khalil, yes, the program does. So we expect to be taking liens, but I think about if somebody has a piece of real estate, they probably have first liens on it, and the perfection process will take a while. Our intent with this program, while the CD money is as a first loss tranche, we expect to be protecting the pool as best we can with I would say unperfected collateral liens, or where we'll take a lien on something. But this is to get money for payroll and money for emergency expenses of businesses in the marketplace. Now, if we have a default and we have collateral, we're probably going to be in a subordinate position to an original creditor. We will work to recover, like we do on all loans, all dollars, and those would go back to fund the first loss tranche, so that we would be protecting the county money as equally to our own as we administer these transactions.
I don't mean to complicate the agreement or the partnership that you guys have already in place. I'm just thinking, as a real estate broker, I always think about these eventualities. I mean, are we in a position to request placing liens on on residential homes and other real estate if they really need the money and they plan to repay it back, to give us some guarantee? Maybe we can ask them to place a lien on other real estate.
Well, we're asking for personal guarantees, and we worked very closely with the CDE in the county to make sure that we had a very simplified underwriting process. We want to make sure people had a viable business before the start of this. And we believe that they'll have a viable business after if we can get them through this. And I would just caution all of us, including the bank, if the more requirements we put on this, the longer it's going to take to get critical dollars into the hands of business owners in these marketplaces. And this is not low to mod, this is low income census tracts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that this is a great program. I too have received calls from business owners in my district. And one of the questions that was asked is, in particular, in certain businesses, they may have issues with coming up with all of the paperwork that is usually required in a loan. I'm glad that this is a simple, sounds like a fairly simple one-pager, but is it Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Yes, sorry, yeah, Tom Schaefer.
Okay, can you spell your last name for us, please?
Yes, it's S-H-A-F-E-R.
Thank you. So in this application, if there is some issues with related to paperwork, how strict will the will you be in processing and collection of the paperwork?
Yeah, so I think that we have an obligation to live up to the intent of the program, but this is the most simplified business application I've seen in my career. And we want to know that they're a business that has 0 to 1 to 99 employees, that they paid, that they've got to give us either a 2018 or 2019 tax return, that that it's a viable business, and that's really the requirements that we're looking at.
Great.
So we're
great.
not, typically we are sifting very carefully through, trade relationships, where the money's going, administering the disbursements. We know this is a crisis, and people and these businesses want to stay alive. So it's a very abbreviated set of requirements.
Thank you so much.
Again, thank you, Mr. Schaefer, for your partnership with this. Thank you, Khalil, for bringing this to us. This is going to be so beneficial for our residents. Commissioner Haydos and Commissioner Marecki, we're going to, or I'm going to put together some kind of small task force and through Commissioner Varga to make sure that we can figure out a way to address the other business areas that are not in this census tract. So thank you all for your explanation of this program, and
Madam
we look
Chair,
forward to this helping our constituents. That Commissioner Marecki?
could I just ask Tom one more question before
Sure.
we? Okay, Tom, Mr. Schaefer.
Yes, Tom.
If the I'm sure you've heard the commissioners, some of the commissioners voicing their desire to help out other businesses in the areas that will not meet these requirements, their location. Would TCF consider expanding this program if we put more money in as a county?
Yeah, so if you can help us expand the program, we are open. Our job at the end of the day, we're a reflection of our communities, and so getting these businesses through this short-term crisis is critical. And so we'd be very open to helping figure out, and I would commit that we will move with the same level of urgency and creativity that we did during this first program to expand this if we can. But absolutely, this is. I expect in 90, 120 days for us to be past this, and I want these businesses to be in place.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Varga. Commissioner Varga? to have a hard time getting unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, you're on.
Okay. I would I would be very happy to host a meeting such as this, or even be part of it, whatever the chair's wishes are. But it would be very exciting to be able to cover the entire Wayne County. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional questions before we move on? Any additional questions? Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Khalil. Thank you, Tom Schaefer. Thank you, TCF, for this. And we look forward to getting more information as we move forward with this.
Thanks for the
All right.
partnership.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, next item, please.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There are none listed. We are moving to reports from committees. On page 2 of the agenda, Report A is from the Committee on Economic Development. There are 11 items listed on pages 2 and 3 of the agenda.
Vice Chair Palomero. Vice Chair Palomero.
I'm sorry.
Live.
Yeah, move approval.
Support.
What are you moving approval of, sir?
Moving approval of the economic development report and any other reports, if you want to do them all at once, or if you just want to limit this one to report A, that's fine too.
Could you do all the reports, please?
I can do all the reports. Yes, ma'am. I move all the reports.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve all of the reports. And to our listening public, we deliberate all of our committees and we go through and we analyze and discuss. And then if moved at the committee level, we then move them to full board. So today we have several reports on our full board agenda. So what we're going to do is go by each of the reports individually, see if there are questions, and then after all of them have been satisfied, we'll have a motion to approve all of the reports in one motion, and that will be a roll call vote. So now we're on the Committee on Economic Development. Are there any questions on the items in economic development?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Dopp?
Thank you. So this is for item number 11 on economic development, report A. It's well, the analysis says on page 58 of the packet. I was just wondering about the disqualifying conduct cause. And there was a comment in here from Commission Counsel that the answer was non-responsive and it is unclear how the county can legally enforce this clause. I just wanted to find out if that had been cleared up.
This is on item number 11?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Commissioner Jesus or Felicia?
Through the chair. So at the committee, the department indicated that they borrowed this language from the land bank because apparently the land bank uses this language. Now, we haven't seen this language in any of our land bank come through us, but they said that this language came from the land bank and they were trying to be consistent with the land bank. And that was the explanation that was provided at committee by the department.
Okay, so we still don't have an answer on how the county can legally enforce this clause?
I believe the department's response is they're on the meeting, but they indicated that they believe that they could, if I'm not mistaken, enforce this. And for them, they said it's typical language that they include in here. Again, it's something that we had never seen. I mean, we found very unusual that have come through this body before. They have not included language. Essentially what the language says that the contractor, the vendor that we're entering into the development agreement with will be responsible for any criminal activity during the construction process. And it wasn't clear to us how someone could be responsible for someone else's behavior. But again, this is something that they indicated they thought was appropriate and something that the land bank uses regularly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions on the economic development report? Okay, hearing none. The next report is the public services report.
Do we vote
Pull
on
that
it?
up for us.
Do we need to vote on this?
We're voting on all of the reports in one
Oh,
motion.
okay,
So we're
okay,
going through and we're asking questions on each of the reports.
okay.
The public services report has how many items, Madam Clerk?
We are on report B from Public Services. There are 17 items listed on pages 3 through 8 of the agenda.
Okay. So any questions on what we can see, item 1, 2, and 3 on the public services report? Okay, on items 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Eight, 9, 10, 11. Any questions on the public services report? 11 through 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Any questions on the public service report? Hearing none, we'll go to the next report.
Report C from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 5 items listed on pages 8 and 9 of the agenda.
Are there any questions on the Ways and Means report? Items 1, 2, and 3 of Ways and Means, any questions? Items 4, 5, and 6 of Ways and Means, I'm sorry, 4 and 5 of Ways and Means, any questions? Hearing none, next report.
Next report is Report D from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 7 items listed on pages 9 through 13 of the agenda.
Okay, there are 7 items on the Health and Human Services report. Any questions on any of the items on the Health and Human Services report? Next report. Committee on Audit. Any questions on the Committee on Audit? Any questions on the one item on the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security? Any questions on the Committee on Government Operations?
Yes.
And who said yes?
Ray Basham.
Commissioner Basham.
That was item number 1 was a comparable source. I will be a no vote on item 1.
Clerk, you note that? Okay, duly noted, Commissioner Basham is a no vote on Government Operations G1.
Duly noted.
Any additional questions or any questions on Government Operations? Item 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and there's 1 item on the Committee of the Whole. Any question on that item?
2 items.
I'm sorry, 2 items. 1 is the audit that we discussed at the Committee of the Whole, and the other is the Wayne County Mental Health Initiative Memorandum of Understanding. I think I saw Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson? Yes.
I just, backing up, it was a little slow for me to get my hand up on the last committee report. The number 2, I just wanted to ask a quick question. The Exhibit B that was to be removed and replaced, is that the same one that I guess through the chair to Felicia, is that the same thing that we've done in past contracts with legal services, that it replaces what was exclusively to one person in the firm? Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, which number was that under government operations?
It was number 2.
Number 2, okay. Under government operations?
Right.
Okay. Felicia, the question, did you hear the question, Felicia?
I did, and I'm looking to see what item we're referring to.
Number 2 under government operations, page 14.
The Zausmer PC.
And the question is about replacing, I'm sorry, will you please repeat the question?
To remove and replace Exhibit B. B is in baby. And I'm just asking if that was the same as we've done in the past with law firms that we employ. Is that the same clause?
Yes, it's my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, the staff can chime in if I'm mistaken, but that's the language that they use, I believe, for most of the contracts. When we talk about legal services, I do not think this is unusual. I actually think it's standard information.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions on government operations? Any additional questions on committee of the whole? Okay, hearing none. There was a motion by Vice Chair Palomero, and I believe the second was by Commissioner Hayes to approve all of the committee reports. Hearing no further conversation or discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll call vote?
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Daub,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Aye.
Commissioner Knizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Scott,
Wake her up.
Go to the next personnel caller.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware, Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Wake her up.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware, Vice Chair Palomero,
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
yes. Vice Chair Pro Tem
Yes.
Ware,
You know,
Yes.
I can see you all, but I had a question to ask earlier,
Oh,
and
Maybe she's on mute.
Hello?
I have your vote. You voted yes, Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
okay.
okay,
I'm not sure.
Pam,
Yes.
this is Martha Scott. So for some reason she was having an audio problem. She couldn't speak. So I have her on my cell phone, and Commissioner Scott, we're doing the roll call vote for the committee reports. And I just need you to vote yes or no on the committee report so Pam can record you.
Yes.
Did you hear?
I can hear myself here while I hear you all.
Yes. I have
Maybe
Commissioner
she's on mute.
Scott as a yes.
Can
Now-
you hear me now?
Hold on, Commissioner. Pam, can you hear Commissioner Scott?
Yes. I hear
Okay,
Commissioner Scott.
okay, she can hear you now, Commissioner, so I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
No, I'm,
Oh.
well, that was.
Okay, she said yes. You heard her say yes on the committee report?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll think out the last person to vote.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware was a yes?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. And Chair Bell?
It's like it's not very good. It's echoing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, for me.
Motion carries. All of the committee reports were approved with Commissioner Basham abstaining on the government operations
No,
report.
voting no.
I voted no.
Sorry, voting no on the government operations report, item number 1.
Okay. All right, next item.
And there is not enough space to.
But we are remaining on page 15 of the agenda with upcoming committee and task force meetings.
Okay, well, that is to be determined.
We are moving to public comments.
Okay, so have you received any emails?
I have not received any emails.
Is there anyone on the phone from the public who would like to comment? Public comment section is now on. Is there anyone on the phone who would like to comment or address the Wayne County Commission? If so, you can speak now.
Marla, I'll send you the link
Everyone
to
should
the
be
commission
unmuted by
meeting,
now.
Wayne County.
Francesca?
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Is there anyone who would like to address the Wayne County Commission? I had someone said all have been unmuted, so everyone's unmuted. If someone would like to speak to the Wayne County Commission, you may do so at this time. Please give your name. Okay, there was someone who said they wanted to speak. One more time, anyone from the public who would like to address the Wayne County Commission?
Do we just speak up, or is there a way for us to signal that we want to talk?
I just want whoever would like to speak, please speak. Give your name for the record.
This is an anonymous caller. Warren. I'd just like to say that it's good to see all of you, and this technology is very interesting, and I commend you for moving forward with it. I think if there's a stock anyone wants to buy, they should buy whoever provides Zoom, because Dearborn's doing their meetings the same way. Anyway, it's good to see all of you. Thank you.
And if we could please have your name for the record, sir.
Gary Warrenchak from Dearborn.
How do you spell it?
Google it. I'm muting. Bye.
Thank you, Chairman, for joining us. I'm glad to see you as well. This is a learning experience for all of us. So thank you for participating in our New Way experiment. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Hearing none. Next item.
We are moving to page 16 of the agenda, new business. There are 2 items listed.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Anderson?
I move those 2 items. I do have a question about, or comment about the first one.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I just wanted to let members know that this was something that our Corp Council had already given us a heads up that there was going to be another easement that we needed to deal with the jail project, the criminal justice complex. So I would move both items for approval.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Commissioner Baker McCormick has a question.
Yes, this is for the second item. And I wanted to know, was the price of the gas based on the current prices or former, or how much are we paying per gallon of gas?
Is there someone from Public Services who can speak to this? Is there someone from Public Services who can speak to this item?
I think Derek Coley, Division Director of Equipment, is on the line.
They're calling on the line, you said, Andy?
Derek Coley is on the line. I'm not sure if he's muted or not.
Aaron Wagner can speak to this. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
So what happens is the county will actually pay the daily rack rate for the fuel. And so the amount that the contract was done was based on an estimated total of, I believe, $3.50 per gallon, but we actually pay the actual daily rack rate, which is a controlled commodity rate. So, for example, today, if the rack rate is $1.50 per gallon, the county would pay $1.50 for every gallon of purchase or fuel we would purchase for that particular day.
So the price will vary. And does that mean that we may get some dollars back from this contract?
Well, no, because we're invoiced for what we use. And so it's as we purchase gas, it just, we get invoiced based on the actual usage. So if we use 100 gallons at $1.20 per gallon, that's how much fuel will be charged for at that particular rate. So it's almost like it's a not to exceed amount, but we pay it actually.
So the amount of the 18 million is just based on what you have used in the past?
Correct. We estimated a little bit high because there was a time when fuel prices back, and I believe it was 2008 or so, had peaked up to almost $5 a gallon. And so we tried to at least allow for enough, but the dollar amount is based on actuals. So whatever the daily amount that we have in our usage, that's how much fuel we'll use and be charged for.
And when was the last time this was put out for a competitive bid?
2017.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions for the new business items 1 and 2?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. Aaron, glad to see you have Mini-Me there with you.
Yes,
That's all.
Thank you. Take your parent to work day. Okay. Any other questions, comments on those items? You have the motion and the support, Pam?
No, I have the motion made by Commissioner Anderson, but I don't have the supporter.
Support.
Terry.
Okay, I think Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware said it first, so supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll need a roll call vote again, please.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman? Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Wake her up.
I heard her, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb?
Yes.
Commissioner Hadis?
Aye.
Commissioner Kniezek?
Yes.
Commissioner Morecki?
Here, yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Madam Chair, I just had a quick question about this item. Can I ask in the middle of the?
Not technically, but is it a really quick yes or no answer question?
Yeah, when will this go out for bid, competitive bid?
Aaron, the question is, when will item number 2 go out for competitive bid again?
Hello, everybody. This is Michelle Yancey from DPS.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hi. This item has another option to renew. So at most, we won't have to go out to bid till 2021. 2022.
Well, no, we would go out to bid in 2021.
2021, but
because
it
it'll
won't
take
be.
us some time to do the option year.
Right.
Right. I guess I'm just a little concerned about the rush to do this without any competitive bids on it. So, okay. I'll vote yes on it.
Commissioner Scott?
Yeah.
Commissioner Scott?
Okay, I think she still having technical difficulties. Maybe Francesca can try to.
I'm in the process of looking at the commission meeting.
Okay, and Commissioner Baidoon should mute his phone. Oh, next person.
Commissioner Varga?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero?
Yes.
Chair Bell?
Yes.
And Commissioner Scott? I see her phone, Commissioner Scott.
She's having she's gonna text you her yes. Okay. Unless you want me to get it back on the phone so she can say yes through my phone. Let me see if I
Yeah, I
can
don't think she can text me her yes.
Okay, I'm trying.
I'm texting.
Okay, she'll text you her yes. Okay, thank
No,
you.
I don't think she can text me her yes.
Oh, says who? Oh, hold on. Martha? Oh gosh, I think she's on her phone. And hold on one second, please. Sorry for the interruption. We want to make sure every commissioner has their vote recorded. Okay, here's go. Pam, can you hear?
Can you hear me now?
You're on my phone, Commissioner. I called you from my cell phone. So I can hear you. So you're going to say yes to the new business items. Say yes.
Commissioner Scott.
Say it again.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I'm going to keep you on my phone. Okay, you got that? You got that?
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
We are on testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 6 items.
I can hear everybody else, so I don't know why you all can't hear me.
Move approval.
It's been moved.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Can you all hear Commissioner Scott through the?
I can hear.
I just heard her say something.
Okay.
Okay, very
Can
good.
you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, I have been trying to get in, and because I wanted to say something about number 11 under economic development.
Too late.
Too late.
No.
I guess
it's
I
not too
am
late
now, but
we can go to reconsideration. So let's get through these testimonials, resolutions,
I move
certificates.
to approval, Madam Chair.
There's moves, their support.
Support, Palomero.
Thank you. I'll do a voice vote for the testimony, resolutions, and certificates. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed for the testimonial resolutions and certificates? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next item.
We are on item C, memoriams. There are 4 names listed.
Thank you. Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Yes, I have correction, please, for number 3 and number 4. And we'll also email it to their office. Number 3 should read Bishop Robert Lee Harris. And number 4 is actually the former state rep and senator. The name should read Raymond Murphy. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. The clerk will make those changes and those corrections.
Duly
Oh,
noted.
and I want to say one thing about Raymond Murphy. There will be a memoriam scheduled later. They had a small funeral invitation only for family members. And so at that time, although our memoriam is prepared, we will present it at the memoriam.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that. Would anyone else like to speak on memoriams?
Madam
Well,
Chair.
Jewel,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I think I
Yes.
heard Martha Scott.
yeah, I just wanted to say to Jewel, if she found out when the memoriam was, to let us know.
I certainly will.
Because I served with him, and I really wanted to go, but I wasn't going to get out to no funeral home now.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner
Madam
Anderson?
Yes, I just wanted to ask that we include the police officers that have that are deceased now due to the COVID-19 infection and virus. I don't have the names in front of me. I'm not sure if someone does that.
I have the names.
Oh, do you? Great.
Yeah, then
Great.
I'll read them out after
Okay.
everyone speaks.
Thank you. That's
Madam
all I-
Chair?
Yes.
Madam Chair, Terry?
Yes.
I would like to add the name Abe Mumfa. Pam, I'll send you the spelling. On behalf of myself, Commissioner Haydes, I know is a friend of Abe's, and Commissioner Daub. Abe lived in the town of Plymouth. And I don't know if anybody else would like to be on this as well.
I
Abe
would.
was who's I?
Ray Basham.
Oh, Ray Basham.
I would too, Terry. I would too. Glenn.
Okay. Yep,
Thank
Glenn
you.
Anderson. Abe was a community leader in many aspects, a business owner, lived in Plymouth for many, many years. One thing he did was the chairman for the Great Lakes Water Authority. Very involved in politics and just a great community leader and a great friend. And he died suddenly, and we're all going to miss him very much. Thank you.
Commissioner Mareki, can you add Commissioner Baidoon also?
Of course.
And Palomera too, please, Terry. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Pam, I'll send you the spelling of his name.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I have
Thank
one.
you.
I have
Thank you,
one.
Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you.
And for the office, oh,
I have one to add. Can you hear me?
Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman?
Right. I'd like to add my next door neighbor, Carmen Carpenter's son.
Oh.
Brent Carpenter passed away a couple days ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Brent Carpenter.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Brent Carpenter. That's Carmen Carpenter's
Oh.
son. Yes, I like to add his name.
Okay, not a problem.
Yes.
Martha Scott, would you add my name?
No, I'm gonna be honest, Jimmy. Well, I don't blame you guys, man.
Well, we haven't done a memorial because I haven't done a resolution yet because it just happened. But certainly when I do it, I'll be glad to add your name to it.
Yeah.
And mine as well, Commissioner
No,
Clark
it's
Coleman.
it's okay.
All right.
Inshallah.
and for the
Jimmy, did you guys put up a
officers-
sign?
Hold on one second. Baker McCormick. Francesca, can you mute everyone except commissioners?
Yeah. I'm going to mute all, and then you'll need to unmute yourself if you wish to speak.
Okay. Hey, commissioners.
Okay, and for Mr. Collins, are we doing a memoriam? And if not, then I can prepare that. Because I really want to. And whoever wants to be on it, I can put all the commissioners on it.
So, what
already
Commissioner
have some.
Baker is speaking to is the fact that Wayne County Sheriff Commander Donathan Collins passed away. So I think because he's a Wayne County Sheriff, we should have all of our names on there. So if you could spearhead that, Commissioner Baker McCormick, I believe he's your constituent, or you were good friends with his family.
Yes, I
If you
will do
could,
that.
and put all the commissioners' names on it.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Okay, all right, so Brent Carpenter, my next door neighbor, has passed away, but they're gonna have a memorial a little bit later, a memorial service. So I will be preparing the resolution. And so I got Martha, Alicia. Is there anyone else that knows Carmen and wanted to be on this one?
Yes, please include me, Irma. Glenn Anderson. Thank you.
Okay, all right, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, I will let you know when that memorial is taking place. She hasn't made the arrangements yet, so we're still waiting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, were there anyone else to speak on memorials before I speak?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Palomero?
Thank you very much. And I too am aware of somebody we work with that's on this call that is also very close to Commander Donna Faye Collins. And that's our clerk, and her husband, Pam Lane, is extremely close to both of them. And I'm hoping that Pam's name gets to appear somewhere on the memorial tribute that we send out, because she probably knew him better than anyone. Pam, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Palomero, for that. Thank you. We've had at least, I think the number was 43 people who have passed away in Detroit and Wayne, and I'm sorry, in the state, but with many of them being from Detroit and Wayne County. Some of the names I want and families I want to lift up in prayer. Again, our very own Donna Faye Collins. We had a dedicated community servant, Marlo Stoudemire. There was a young lady who graduated from Cass, Lanika Barksdale. And then there was also the Detroit Police Captain, Jonathan Parnell. Unfortunately, Mr. Captain Parnell, Mr. Marlo Stoudemire, and Lanika Barksdale all attended Cass Tech High School at some point during their high school days. So it's unfortunate that we've lost those three people back to back, as well as all of the people that have been affected by this terrible pandemic. So we want to keep everyone lifted up in prayer who've lost someone unexpectedly during these horrible times, and continue to bless their families and wrap our arms around them as they go through this. So at this time, we're going to take a moment of silence. If you could please mute everyone. Francesca, as we take a moment of silence to lift up everyone affected by this pandemic. Thank you, everyone, and please continue to keep our nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals and our law enforcement and emergency professionals in our prayers as they deal with this tremendous time of overtaxing and sudden loss. So just keep everyone in our prayers as we move forward. Reconsiderations are next. I'm sorry, Pam, I took your spot.
That's okay.
Next item.
Thank you. Reconsiderations.
Thank you. Commissioner Martha Scott,
Yeah,
are you on the line? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead. You want to speak
Can
on
you hear
item?
me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I just wanted to, I didn't understand exactly what happened. I know that it was number 11 was being questioned. And I did question it in committee, but I found out that it was just doing a construction that this item was put on. It was put on number 11, but I'm okay with it now.
And that's the government operations report?
Yeah, number 11.
Number 11? Okay, so you're fine with that one?
Did it pass?
Yes, it did.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, I know Dobb spoke on it, but I didn't understand here at all, because I guess I was having problems with my phone, but I'm glad it's better now.
Yeah, me too. Just in time for remarks by members. Next item, clerk.
Remarks by members.
Are there any Wayne County commissioners who would like to give remarks? And if you don't mind, those of you who can, go to the area and raise your hand so I can see everyone.
Yes.
All right, and I am, hold on one second, let me get there. Who has a hand up? Anybody?
I do.
Oh, I don't see any hands. Okay.
Clark
Commissioner
Coleman.
Clark Coleman.
I'm waving.
The hand on your device, but anyway.
Oh, on my device. Well, anyhow.
But I saw your hand too, so Commissioner Clark Coleman.
I just really would like to urge everyone to take this, they call it, well, Corona. Let's take this Corona serious. We need to really stay in this house. Stay in your house. You know, they're really, I can't think of anything that would prompt me to go outside during this time. We're not going to be able to get control until everyone takes it serious and stay in. So I know that we're all busy folks and we think that we really have to do certain things, but put them aside and then stay in and let's get control of this awful, awful disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Very well spoken. Stay inside, stay safe. Commissioner Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to commend you on putting this ability for us to meet in this form and fashion now, and to do it so quickly is pretty amazing. I am curious, when is the next time that we're going to meet in this form and fashion, and is it going to be for a committee of the whole?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that. And your accolades should go to Pam and Francesca for testing the system, making sure it was up and running, that we could do everything that we're doing. It took a lot of people to get us here today, so thank you for that. Next meeting, good question. Right now, we are scheduled to have another meeting in this format on next Tuesday, which would have been our regular scheduled meeting. However, as of today, my thoughts are that whatever items that we have coming to us, they will not go to committees. They'll just be listed as new business under the full board agenda. So we would treat it as a committee of the whole, where we will have each item, we would deliberate with the various department heads on those items. So it may be a lengthy meeting. So that's where I am today. If that should change and we do end up having the need to have individual committee meetings, then this platform will be available to do such. If we do not have many items and it's feasible to have them in a committee of the whole format, then we'll wait and we'll have them all on April 2nd, which is next Thursday. It'll pretty much be determined by how many items that we have to go to each committee.
Thank you.
So please stay tuned.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Commissioner Baidoon.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning again, everyone. I just wanted to offer you my insight. These are very challenging times for us in this country, and we need to stay vigilant. Things are going to get much worse. I have been communicating with many of the doctors, friends that operate in several of the hospitals in this area. They are very, very close to capacity. We need to reinforce the message that people need to stay in their homes. I have to admit, initially, I was out and about trying to help people, where I went and collected some masks, which were donated to the Wayne County deputies in Division 3. But I would like to also say that we have this platform as elected officials. We need to use our platforms to educate the public and get the word out that please stay home. Unfortunately, if some of you look at the graphs, I have been following a lot of that. We are very close to being like the European country of Italy. So please, please, please ask everyone to stay home. I went on social media yesterday and I posted about people who are playing basketball in school backyards and city parks. This applies not just for the area of Dearborn. This could be happening in other parts of Wayne County. So please ask the young people in your communities. Yesterday, I have a Facebook friend. She's a nurse. I think she's 26 or 27 years old. She got the virus and she's asking for prayers. This is very, very serious. I think that the economic and the human impact of this is very, very high. I think 9/11, and I don't mean to minimize the tragedy of 9/11, 9/11 will pale in comparison to what we're about to see and what we're witnessing right now. Earlier today, a hospital ship sailed to New York State because that's the epicenter. Over here, we don't have, I don't know if we can get hospital ships. So the hospitals are at full capacity. If one of our family members gets sick, guess what? They have no room in the hospitals. And I'm speaking from a personal experience because my wife is very ill for the last 4 years. She just came home on Monday from Beaumont Hospital. Once in a while, she gets an infection. I have to take her into the hospital. I don't know where I would admit her right now. It's a dilemma. So please, please get the word out. We need to flatten the curve. That's the key. We need to flatten the curve. Thank you all and stay safe.
Thank you, Sam, Commissioner Baidoon. I'm very pleased to see so many commissioners using their voices and platform on social media. The piece went out to 200,000 residents from all the commissioners about what it is, how to stay safe. So we just have to continue to do our parts as elected officials in Wayne County to make sure that we are doing the best and providing the best, most accurate information to our constituents, because the message is quite simply just stay home, stay safe, period. There's nowhere you have to go. So just stay at home, and we pray that this will pass in a very short time. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want everyone to know that my father, I took him to the hospital last night, and he was tested for the virus. We don't know yet, but I just would like to ask for your prayers. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. We will definitely keep you and your dad and your entire family lifted up in prayer.
Alicia?
Yes.
This is Irma.
Yes.
When did those, when did that mailing go out, and when did it hit yet?
It did. I received one actually on Monday, Tuesday.
I see Wayne Peel is trying to say something. I can't hear him. He must be muted.
Let me unmute. They did go out. I got this at my home today. So,
today.
Everybody's
Well,
getting them at a different time, but they did go out.
Okay, maybe it will.
Okay.
Maybe that will come today. When did you get yours, Alicia?
Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, okay. All right. I
And
haven't.
it went out to 200,000 people in Wayne County. So, you know, we have 1.8 million people in Wayne County. So it was a spattering, about 15,000 per district.
Yeah.
So every commissioner may or may not get one, just depending on the mail list.
Okay.
Okay, Martha Scott, I have
Yes.
not gotten my mailing out for my county mailing, and it was supposed to have been out by now.
Your newsletter?
Yeah, it went to the printer some time ago.
Can I ask Jim to give you a call on that, Commissioner?
Yes, please do.
Okay, Jim, please call Commissioner Martha Scott as soon as you can to give her an update on her newsletter. And then that's Jim and or Wayne. Any other comments by commissioners or remarks by commissioners? Okay, well, we're about done.
Alicia?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Hattis has been waving his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Commissioner Hattis, I'm sorry. Where are you? You didn't have it up in the chat thing. Commissioner Hattis, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. In difficult time, sometimes you realize how much a blessing we have, despite all the difficulty we have. I miss coming to work to the Guardian building to see all my colleagues and the staff deal with the administration. And, you don't feel the importance and the blessing we have to be able to represent our people till you have a difficulty like this. And I felt, long as I have everybody in this meeting, is to ask everybody to be careful, to everybody to stay safe, and to tell you all, I love you all. It's my feeling. Get your feeling out to your family, to your friend, to your constituents. Wayne County very blessed with the leadership we have in the administration and the commission. And I want everybody to know we trying our best to be good representative to our communities. May God bless you all. And again, I say, I love you all. Commission, staff, administration, constituents, and let's pray because I believe in prayer, and let's keep the prayer going. And this country went through a lot of difficult time, and in the end we come through. We will go through this one. We thankful to have each other, to work with each other. Thank you for your leadership, Madam the Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for those words. And I think we couldn't leave the meeting on a better note. So if there aren't any other comments, do I hear any other comments by commissioners?
Madam Chair, can you see me?
I can see you, Commissioner.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know, was I doing this thing right? Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I see you. So God bless each and every one of us and our families, and be safe, as Irma said. We've got to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm glad to see your face. Glad you made it on.
Thank you.
Visually. Thank
At least
you.
her hair.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All right.
Support.
Thank
All right.
you. Meeting
Thank you.
adjourned. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you all. Let me see. God bless everyone.
Okay. See, when I first had it on, I was able to see this.
We good to end the meeting, Chair?
That was Francesca.
Jim, you took your tie off.
Okay, I want to know. Okay, what meeting is adjourned? I want to know, how can I see everybody's face? I couldn't see everybody's face.